Hello, and welcome to SWLG Talks with the Spirit. I'm your host, Loyalty G, and today's topic, we're going to talk about traffic laws. Pretty much, aka riding dirty. That's right. We're going to talk about those who are riding out here dirty in their cars and what are some of the violations, court fees, what tips you can do to reduce fines, and to prevent yourself from ending up in jail, of course. First of all, I always like to, quote a Bible scripture to help you out, to encourage you also, to keep you on the right track. So in this particular case, we have the scripture, Leviticus 5:17. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. So pretty much it's telling you, even though you're out here and you don't know about the law, you still are held accountable and could receive some type of fine for your violation. One of the main things I want to talk about is we have drivers that are driving out here who don't have a license and never had a license. Now, of course, in this particular case, in Georgia, you can get stopped and that fine could be up to $1,000. Now, I don't know about you, but a lot of people don't have $1,000. So you don't want to be driving in a car without a license or a person. You should have a learner's license and have a person that is licensed in the state of Georgia. Another thing which leads to the topic of riding dirty. Now, as I worked as a law enforcement officer, I will often see people that were riding with this tag applied for cardboard on the back of your car. Let me tell you something about that. This is an alert that's like this draws the police to you. Anytime you put a cardboard on the back of your car, this draws the police. It alerts them, letting them know that either you don't have any insurance, you don't have a current registration. And some of us are getting so creative, we'll take those drive-out tags and put them on our cars. Know that they're expired. They've been expired for months, and we still have them on there. So we want to talk about some of those fines that you will incur. When the police does stop you, of course, they're going to ask you for your license. Let's just say you don't have a license, so that's the $1,000 fine in Georgia, or up to $1,000, of course. And then you don't have registration on the vehicle, and that could be up to $200, a fine for that. And of course, you don't have insurance. Of course, that could be probably from $85 to $185. And of course, you don't have the decal as well. So you're talking about close to probably about $1,500 with all of those violations. When you could have went and got that Georgia book, studied it from the DMV, got your license, got some insurance, liability insurance, probably about maybe $80 or $100. Got that tag registration, and I'm going to tell you about how to go about that. You could have went to the Georgia Revenue Department, got your title, got your registration, that information, so that you will be not riding dirty. Because the cardboard is what mostly leads to the arrest, or your decal that's expired. Decals are only like $20 in Georgia. It used to be where you had to pay this large amount of fee, and I'm so glad that they got rid of that tax that we had to pay. And if you need to get your title registration, again, go to the Georgia Revenue Department for that. Those particular things. If you need to get a title switched over, make sure that you do that as well. It's usually probably like $18 for the title. At least that's when I worked for the Revenue Department, that's what it was. And also, if your decal is stolen or lost off of your vehicle and you're stopped, of course, I believe it's like $8 or something like that for you to replace it, or if your tag's been stolen. Okay, so let's talk about some of the also other criminal offenses. What we're talking about where you're they're misdemeanors, but if you run the red light, improper lane change, or if you cause accidents, hit and runs, speeding violation, these things. If you do not go to court, there's going to be a FTA, failure to appear, which is a bench warrant, which will be put out for your arrest. So pretty much a warrant will be put out. They will come to your home or where you're located, if you're at your job or whatever, and they're aware of it. You will be going to jail. So that's going to be more money that you're paying out. So we want to prevent those things. Let's talk about some of the fines in Georgia. Okay, so red light violations, they can be up to $250 now. Speeding is between like $145 up to probably about $300, maybe $45. It just depends on the speed limit and how much you're going over miles per hour. Usually when it's like 5 miles per hour, usually the cops, police officers will give you some type of break or whatever, warning, you know. Then we have following too close. For those who want to ride the tail of other people and they hit their brakes, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be charged with the following too close because you're hitting them in the back. You want to keep some distance between you, even if they're blowing their horns or, in the back of you, they're blowing the horn. You still want to keep distance, but the person who hits you in the back is usually going to be charged with following too close to your vehicle. And there's going to be a fine on that. Then you got, of course, your insurance is going to go up and you're going to get points on your record. Usually about 3 points for those citations that you get for disobeying a red light, a traffic control device. That's what they call it on your ticket. If it's an improper turn or if it's following too close. Usually those are the things, or failure to yield, which usually cause some type of vehicle accident. With vehicle accidents, make sure that you stay on the scene, that you pull your car out of the area where the other cars are oncoming for safety reasons. Take pictures, of course, of your damage and the damage of the other car, along with their tag, license plate as well. If you can exchange information, their driver's license information, and their insurance as well. Make sure you get that police report number from the officer and the officer's name. They usually give you a card, so you'll have the information pertaining to what you need when you do contact your insurance company. Because a lot of times some officers may leave out some important information on the police report, or you may not get the report to like 3 or 4 days and you're trying to contact an attorney. And sometimes the attorneys will be up on getting that information. They have like case managers available to get that information, but sometimes you can expedite the situation where you can go and get it. I think it's like free ticket information or the police reports, where you can get them faster than sometimes the attorney. Another thing I want to talk about, we talked about no insurance fine. It's like $185 for that ticket. Open containers. So y'all riding dirty, that's sitting in the car with the cup and you're sipping on, whatever, your hen, or whatever the case may be, an alcoholic beverage, a Corona, whatever you want to call it. Of course, you get stopped. There's a fine for that. Most officers go ahead and arrest you right then. And of course, they check you for DUI. So your car is impounded. Of course, police report, your things that are in the car, administrative searches are done as well to make sure they've got inventory of what you have in the car, that they turn into property. So you're talking about you've been stopped. Usually it might be you didn't put your signal on, or you're speeding or something like that to get to the car. You got the alcohol smell coming from your breath. They see the cup, ask you about it, and they ask you to step out of the car after getting your license, and they've already ran your tag and all of that stuff with GCIC and of course NCIC. Those are the criminal investigation, their information systems that tell law enforcement if you are wanted, or even other violations. They can pull up your criminal history at that time as well. Now, let's say that you have a suspended license. Of course, in Georgia, your violations. First of all, if you don't know that you have a suspended license, of course, the officer will let you know that. Some officers will allow you, they'll give you a citation, but they'll allow you to drive if you have insurance and all of that. But it just depends on what your license is suspended for, because you also could be driving somebody else's car, but your license is suspended, but they've got proper insurance. With the suspended license, there's a form that the officers should give you to inform you, and they'll fill it out, and of course you'll sign off on it saying that acknowledge that you're aware that you have a suspended license. The officer takes that information back to the office. They send that information to the driver's license DDS, DMV, where they input it in the system to show that you are aware. So you should not be going to ride again, because some of us, what we'll do is we've been let go, we'll ride on home, and then next day we'll still be riding, and we've got a citation and we've got to go to court usually like 30 days. But of course, with this corona, it's been delayed. Some people court has been like 2 or 3 months out. So what you'll end up doing is you need to contact DDS. You need to pay that fine for that suspended license, figure out why it's suspended. Because what will happen is you'll end up where you don't go to court or something like that, and that bench warrant is going to be put out, your license is going to be suspended, and you could have a warrant where you're going to be arrested. So we want to avoid those things. So basically, as I talk about it, I don't want to see you riding around with this here, this tag applied for. That draws the police to you. You're going to get a citation for it. You don't have a registration. You don't have insurance. The car's going to be impounded, and you're going to jail. And of course, if you have little small ones, usually a nice officer will have somebody to come and pick up, your children or whatever the case may be, because most officers do not want to have to deal with having to take you to jail, wait, and then of course they may have to wait on defects if you're going to jail, if they can't get in touch with somebody who can come to the scene and pick those children up, and the car is going to be impounded. When you go to get your car out for impounding, of course, you're going to have valid driver's license. You're going to have insurance on the vehicle, whoever is coming to pick it up, and there's going to be a fine. Most likely, the fine is probably going to be over $100. It may be more than that, and for each day, it depends on the tow lot. It may be $10, $15, $20 for each day that is there. So we pretty much talked about riding dirty, traffic law, gave you some information on fines. Information as far as your license, go to DDS, the Georgia driver's license website. With your tag registration, go to Georgia Department of Revenue. Go on that site. They'll tell you about registration of your vehicle, fines, and all of that stuff. And of course, there are reputable insurance companies there where you can get liability insurance. You don't necessarily have to have full coverage. That's usually on newer cars. But if you have an older car, you can get some insurance for like $60 or something just to have liability, and then get your tag so you won't be riding dirty and putting those cardboards on your cars. You know what cars you are, and I don't want to call them out, but I'll tell you, when I worked as an officer, it was usually those Monte Carlos, Impalas, those Chevy vehicles, had a few Fords, but those were the main vehicles that officers stopped, usually young men or some women as well, with that cardboard. I mean, that does not, supplement the real tag. You can put writing tag apply, and that is a criminal offense. That's a misdemeanor. You can go to jail up to a year time with misdemeanors, of course. So you don't want to put that cardboard on the back. You come out better just going ahead, getting a bus or Uber or ride share, whatever, and go to or get a friend to take you to the Georgia Revenue Department, get your registration taken care of, make sure you got insurance, make sure you have your license, so you will not be riding dirty, the police will not be stopping you, and you won't be spending a lovely night in jail. Okay, well, that's all that I have to say about dirty driving. You know the fines, you know what not to do, and I hope that these tips help you out. And make sure if you're going to court, make sure that you know the law and that you do have some type of representation, a lawyer, somebody, if you just feel like that you're guilty. And right now what they're doing, of course, and they've been doing it for a while. Let me touch the base before I go. Some people plead no low contest, which pretty much is trying to say that I'm not guilty, but I could be guilty in that sense or whatever. And what usually will probably happen, it just depends on the judge. It's up to them whether or not you are, or they accept it or whatever the case may be. But it still shows up on your driving record. So if insurance company do pull your record, it's going to show it on there. Whether you got the points or not or whatever, it's going to show up on your driver's license. So that's one of the things that you can do. A lot of times you also can, prior to you going to court, you can send a letter in saying that you're pleading not guilty to it, and seeing if you can work something out prior to even going to court, so you won't have those points on your record. And even though, a lot of times you can plead guilty and the judge can reduce the fine for you, the points may or may not go on your record. It just depends on, the judge in that particular case or whatever. But it will show that you did get a citation, and sometimes it'll say that you went to driver's ed or some type of class to assist you with having a lower fine. So, and they also, if you can't pay the fine, what's happening is you're placed on probation. Yeah. And they take you in a little small room, talk to you. Okay, this is the payment plan. You're on probation. That does go on your record, but you're able to pay it, sporadically, where if you got $1,000 fine, you may not have $1,000. Okay, you're on probation. It's not like it used to be where you go and clean up and, and do the time, all of that. They're really encouraging you to pay that fine. And the thing with that, if you don't pay the fine, you miss payments, there's a bench warrant for you, and you will be arrested, and they will bring you to jail. So we don't want that happening. So to prevent all of that, we don't want a dirty drive. That's what I call it, dirty driving. Hey, and where does the money go? It goes back to the city where you got stopped at, or the county that you got stopped in, and they receive the money and they allocate it in different areas. It may be to buy police equipment or any other things. It just varies. So to avoid going to jail, getting these fines, stop riding dirty, stop putting those cardboards on the back of your car. All right, until then, you have a great Monday. God bless you and stay safe. And I will see you again next Monday for SWLG Talks with the Spirit. You can email with me any questions that you may have or concerns regarding law. or any other thing, make sure that you subscribe, you comment, and share. You subscribe is for free. It is for free. Let's just say, I have to say that every time to everyone. Share the video with everybody. So you can email me, SWLGTALKS@gmail.com. Till then, have a great Monday.